Hey, what's up, folks? Thanks for tuning into this episode of Commuting with Chris here on Battery Powered. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Apple event in October. I don't know what they're going to call it yet because they actually haven't announced it. But minor technicalities like that aside, here's what I think is going on. They just dropped the XS and the XS Max, the Series 4 watch. The last part of those I really enjoy, by the way. And I don't think that they're done yet. There's no way that we're going to go into the Apple holiday season with just having those two new iPhones. There's no way they can do that. So there's got to be another event coming. If you look at the calendar right now, you'll see that October 19th is the pre-order for the iPhone XR. I noticed last night I got a pop-up on my Apple Store app that said I could get ready for the XR on October 15th. So those two things alone slot into an October 16th keynote where Mr. Cook can talk about how many people were after the XR and pre-ordered it the night before, hopefully. I feel like, at the risk of repeating myself, Apple is not painting this with color, they're painting it with a template, absence of color. And what I mean is, if you look across their product lineup right now, they've got some strange things that have not happened. And the first one of these is the Macbook. Well, yeah, actually, I'll go back a second. What I think we're going to be seeing at this event, I think you're going to see the new value tier MacBook, the MacBook Air replacement. We've got to see something just for that. iPad Pro, hopefully. New Apple Pencil, hopefully. AirPods 2, maybe. I don't know if there's going to be. I haven't heard anything about production on those yet. There's been no real leaks for AirPods 2. There's one part of me that thinks they might just drop them with a Qi charger and call it a day, but I think we're going to see something relating to AirPods. What else? Probably an iMac, probably a Mac Mini. I don't know that they'll get much attention. I feel like those would be kind of like the secondary guessers in the show, and they'll just be like the one more things. But reasons why I feel this way. So the MacBook, whatever it may be, the MacBook 12 has been out for a few years now. I bought one, I returned it. My MacBook Air at the time was just as fast, and I felt like more capable, despite the newer one having some more modern niceties to it. If you look at this year, though, this past year, the MacBook Pros got updated. They got new keyboards, they got new CPUs. The 13 inches got quad core now, which is awesome. The big boys got hex core, but the non-touch bar MacBook Pros were left entirely alone. They didn't even get the new tag to like try to trick people into buying them on the website. Nothing. The regular MacBook 12 got nothing, and the MacBook Air, it also got nothing. The last time any of these things got updated was over a year ago, give or take, and there was nothing substantial. So there's a part of me that would like to believe that plus the lack of a real iPad Pro update means that we're going to get some sort of new converged computing device from Apple, maybe. I feel like it's too soon for it to be out, so they might announce it's coming, but I highly doubt they have an event just for that. They've got to have you buy stuff as we are getting into Q4 here. So it would make sense to have it the first couple weeks of Q4. It would make sense to have things you can buy this year. We've heard about a new iPad Pro, an 11-inch one with some different sizes. Allegedly, we're going to be going bezel-less on this one, sort of like the iPhone X, which just has edges instead of bezels. And, or I should say XS now to be current, but the X started it all. And I guess I also feel like last year we got a new iPad Pro, an iPad 10.5, but it just didn't feel like they put their heart into it. I mean, they basically took like a 9.7 and just said, here, have a 10.5 in a very similar form factor, but still a little bit different. To me, it feels like architecting for an 11-inch chassis and seeing what they could do with it and how well it stood up to some work in the field. And now, hopefully, this year they're going to go and throw some all-display, but also all-display with some cool way to hold on to it, because you're still going to want to hold on to it, I assume. So that's part of the reason why I feel that way, because they also, the 12.9 last year, when they came out with the 12.9, and then they waited a year, and then when they bumped it last summer, it's the same exact device. It just has the display it should have always had. It's the same display that the 9.7 had. In terms of the technology and the color depth. And then it got a spec bump, but it didn't really get a whole bunch of anything else. So I feel like one part of me says there's going to be a new iPad Pro, and then there's another part of me that says that they're going to make like a 13-inch iPad Pro and an 11-inch. But then it's really, really strange because you go back and look at the old MacBook Airs, and those are the same size as the MacBook Airs. And now we're talking about getting rid of, the MacBook Air update. So maybe there's some sort of convergence there. I can't get that out of my head. But in any event, I feel like this event that we're going to have in the fall time hopefully covers that, because we've already got MacBook Pros that have been updated. We need all the other stuff to get updated. We need something cheaper that people aren't buying for business, most likely, that could fit on someone's Christmas holiday budget. And if you've got that kind of room, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be willing to accept items of leisure from you for sure, as long as they're the new MacBooks. And then the other parts too. I mentioned iMac. We came out with the new iMac Pro at the end of last year. Prior to that, I believe it was a spec bump done at WWDC where they announced the iMac Pro, and they moved up to, I want to say maybe Kaby Lake processors or something, but they didn't do much. And the iMac is, maybe this whole event's built around the iMac and I'm just missing out, but I can't believe Apple would introduce an iMac Pro with that look and then totally redesign it. So I'm feeling like they're going to give us some hex core and some built-up iMacs right about now, because they've had some runtime in the field with the new MacBooks running some bigger CPUs, so iMacs would make sense now as well. And then last but certainly not least, the Mini. Everyone loves the Mac Mini. Everyone hates that it's been sitting there doing nothing since 2014. I am a 2014 Mac Mini owner. I love that it still works. I love that it still runs new beta software great. I love that I can, there's some modularity to it. I highly do not expect Apple to leave this as a $500 or $600 computer. I firmly believe that they will find some way to make everything on it soldered to the board so you can't work on it like you used to, and the Mini will probably lose a lot of its luster that it currently has, which I guess, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot about it. I just know that there's been promises. I also know that, I think it was Phil Schiller, I hope I'm quoting the right one, that said that the Mac Mini isn't dead, it's still on the roadmap. So I hope it would be good if this is where it lands on the roadmap. I think it would fill a nice gap between where the new Mac Pro is going to come out and then the iMac Pro, if we have like a Mac Mini, because I also think that in order to get what Apple probably wants to get for it, it's going to need to have some serious chutzpah, as they say. So that's my thoughts on what we're going to be talking about. And the AirPods, I know I briefed on that earlier. I kind of feel like Apple will they'll either announce them and they'll be shipping them and they'll just have some chi case with the same old, it'll be like, you'll get Hey Siri on them maybe, and there'll be some, great, my Nav devices are now going to talk to me, because yes, now after the other day, I always rock the second device with Nav. But I don't think the AirPods are going to be that much if they're dropping them now. Granted, they've had some time to work on them, but I still feel like we're going to see that later. So, I don't know. But in any event, I hope I'm right. I hope there is an event. I hope it's on the 16th. That would be great if this all kind of comes to fruition. Otherwise, what are your thoughts? What do you most want to see? If you like this, if you like this video and you like what we're doing here, do me a favor, by the way, hit like, hit subscribe. It helps the channel grow, helps more people see it. And in a couple weeks, when I'm totally wrong, it'll help more people show up here and rag on me for being wrong. So that's all for now. I thank you for watching this episode of Commuting with Chris, long day edition, commuting at night here. Be well, folks.